Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Facebook's taking its time. But there it goes. Good. Sometimes everything works, sometimes it doesn't. Suppose we're going to see in just a second. All right. There we go. Works, sometimes it doesn't. Today is Wednesday. Wednesday's a nice day, solidly right in the middle of the week. And Wednesdays are interesting because you've already done some things and there's still a lot more to do. It's important to recognize there's always more to do. Zip says, good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's having a great day. That is right, Zip. Hope everyone's having a fantastic day. I'm going to have a hectic day. Can already tell. Going to meet with some of my mentors soon, so I'm not going to go for the full hour today most likely, but we will see. You never know. Today we're going to be discussing dealing with adversity. Coffee's running down. No, we're good. It's perfect. Perfect amount. Inevitably, things are going to happen in life that are trying and difficult. You better get used to it. And you have to recognize that most things, not all, but most things that happen that are rough for you are of your own making. For example, if you play poker, if you're a poker player, and you happen to play too big, you decide, you know what, I'm just going to gamble hard, I'm going to play high stakes, I'm going to try to get rich and run it up. And then if you lose, some people, they get angry. They think, oh, this is terrible. Why did this happen to me? And you have to recognize that most things that go wrong in your life are your fault to some extent. Obviously, like, there are some things out of your control, like where you were born and whatnot. But it happens. Yes, last night we had to send an email out to everyone because we had a security breach at Poker Coaching, which is a lot of fun. Seemingly out of my control, but not really, because I'm the boss of the company. You can read about that at pokercoaching.com/security. We take your security very seriously, and we have worked very hard to plug the holes and make sure that we don't have any security issues. I've learned a lot about cybersecurity over the last week. And the unfortunate thing about it seems, is that if someone wants to hack you, they can, for the most part. Been studying a lot about this. And turns out, lots and lots of big companies have been hacked. You would think that companies like Yahoo, PlayStation, Facebook, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Marriott, you'd think these companies would not be able to be hacked. But no, it turns out if they want to get you, they can get you. And someone decided to get me. And fortunately, I'm very, very lucky in this, in that I don't have any payment information, any credit card information. So that's good. A lot of these companies that I just listed, they do their own transactions. I was at least lucky enough to recognize that I don't want to hold on to your credit cards. So anyway, they got your email addresses, maybe names, maybe passwords, I'm not sure. Anyway, I sent out an email to everyone, and that is very unfortunate. I am very sorry for that. But we are moving forward. We've already made steps to make sure we are as secure as we could possibly be, following the best possible practices in the industry, and we're moving forward. And that's really what you have to do when you face adversity. When you face adversity, you have to, really, what can you do? All you can do is move forward as productively as possible. It sucks. It happens. Say you lose half your bankroll, and then you all of a sudden wake up and realize, oh no, I screwed up. All you can do is fix the problems. Adobe was also hacked. Yeah, look, a lot of big companies get hacked. That's what it amounts to. It's important to realize that things happen, and all you can do is recognize your mistakes, pick yourself up, and move forward. So, whenever things do go wrong in your life, just as a broad generic sense, what should you do? Well, first things first. In most things in life, recognize it's probably not as bad as you think it is. Let's say you do lose half your bankroll at poker, right? Let's say you started with $10,000, you decided to gamble, and then you lost $5,000 of it playing, I don't know, 5-10 no limit in a soft game. Maybe it was even a good shot to take. In that scenario, what can you do? Well, you have $5,000 left, right? We have 5K left. Is this so bad? It's really not so bad. You're fine. You just have to recognize you've messed up. You're going to have to put in some work, and you're going to have to fix the problems. I mean, I've been dealing with this for all of last week with my company, dealing with being hacked, right? And it makes you learn. As Ohio says right here, I was actually going to mention this later, there's a book called The Obstacle is the Way. I think I had it right back here. Here it is. The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. Solid book, essentially on Stoicism, but discusses that the timeless art of turning trials into triumph. My company's going to be better because of it. We're going to have much better practices going forward. We are always going to make sure we're using the industry best standards because I realize that is a thing. Apparently, I'm big enough in the poker world where they are trying to hack me, and that's, well, good and bad. Means that's one more thing I have to deal with, right? And adversity is not necessarily a bad thing. You're going to find that very often, a lot of the companies that become great had a rival that either also becomes great or they eventually take down. I mean, look at even like Microsoft and Apple, right? They have both become gigantic companies, and they're huge now, right? Because they battled each other hard. And it's important to realize that adversity is not necessarily detrimental. Now, let's say you are playing poker and you lose all of your bankroll. Is that detrimental? Is that bad? Well, no, because you can always go get a job. I started with $50 to my name playing poker. To be fair, probably more like $300 because I bought $300 worth of poker books. But I had a $10 an hour job, and I had $50 that I put on party poker long time ago. And people are doing that even today. They're taking small amounts of money and a giant helping of discipline, and they are turning that into lots and lots of money. How do you deal with online poker loss? One straight week. One straight week is nothing. Get ready for much longer than that. Who do I battle? You know, there's this interesting idea in business that anyone who is in your industry, it is your goal to try to destroy them. I don't necessarily have that view. I more so try to get people on my team. Good example of this. Excelling at No Limit Hold'em. Take a look at these people. A lot of these people are great poker players. So, I'm getting them to share information with me, right? We are friends. And making friends with people is good. You all work together to better each other because you want to. You like each other. You're on the same team, right? Also, some of these people sell training products just like I do. And instead of competing head on head, head to head, we are working together, right? And, promoting each other's stuff, which is good. Why have enemies, right? You don't have to just be out there constantly trying to trash everyone. You can instead work to better everyone. And I much prefer to better the world than tear it down. KCAP, yes, I've already sent a message with your exact email. A few people are having some issues resetting their passwords. I've already sent the email to my engineer. You've had a 5K plus downswing. The other day I played 3 tournaments and lost $12,000. So $12,000 downswing in 3 tournaments. Such is life. So yeah, it's important to look. I realize in some businesses you just cannot work together. Like Apple and Microsoft are really they just don't work together. But we are not in that type of industry. This is an industry that is very. I guess most industries can be collaborative, but at the end of the day, if you're going to buy a computer, you're going to buy a Microsoft computer or a Apple computer, right? You just are. It's very different in the poker space. At the end of the day, you may buy Jonathan Little's PokerCoaching.com. You may buy somebody else's product, right? And look, I use other people's products because they're good. They're fine. You can learn a lot from them. And that's important to recognize because you're not going to have like an Apple phone and a Microsoft phone unless you just have lots and lots of phones, right? So I get why they are battling harder than most. But yeah, that said, you don't have to fight with everyone. You can collaborate. You can work together. And the neat thing about poker, too, even like the learning of poker space, like the idea that you are going to study with other people and then battle them, is that if you are better than they are, you don't really care if they have an idea of what you're doing. Because you are going to implement your strategy better than they are going to implement their strategy. Which is a neat concept, right? That if you actually are working harder than other people, you will succeed. Let's see. Does that strategy still work? Take a small amount and run it up. Tim, run it up is the bad phrase. Very, very bad phrase. A lot of people, I've seen these people do these bankroll challenges where they take like $100 and try to turn it into $10,000, but they keep like 5 buy-ins, okay? That is not how you do it. I started with $50, which was 100 bets at limit hold'em, okay? I know you're not playing limit hold'em anymore, but what I would suggest is play $5 buy-in games or even $2 buy-in games with your $50 buy-in, and then slowly progress. Yeah, you're going to win like 20 cents an hour or 50 cents an hour in the beginning, but that is okay, right? Your goal is not to win money. I was just talking to the owner/manager of the Poker backing group yesterday. I was watching something that he did and discussing it with him. And basically, whenever you are first starting your poker career, when you have no money, your goal should not be to win money. Your goal should be to improve your skills as fast as you can, which implies playing a lot, studying a lot, grinding a lot, and also playing in lower variance games, playing in games that give you lots of opportunities to get experience, right? So when you're first starting at poker, you should not be playing 10,000 person tournaments because you almost never get to the final table. You're going to have no final table experience. Instead, you should be playing 100 person tournaments where you get to play the bubble a lot, final table bubble a lot, final table, heads up, etc. And getting all that experience is very, very valuable. And you have to figure out if it's actually what you want to do. Do you actually want to sit there and be disciplined? A lot of people don't want to be disciplined. They want to start with 5 buy-ins and try to run it up. I never really thought of what I did as running it up because it took years, right? And you have to realize I was not playing poker to make money. I was playing poker because I enjoyed playing poker. And I think that's how you need to approach most hobbies that could become professions. And you get final table experience playing 3-handed spin and goes. Well, you're getting 3-handed experience, but that I believe those were winner take all. So I would say no. You don't really want winner take all experience for regular tournaments because they're not winner take all. So I would tell you to play like regular sit and goes instead. Your bankroll management has been atrocious. Well, stop that. I have the Bankroll Bible. Check it out at jonathanlittlepoker.com/bankroll. It's okay to have multiple coaches. Sure. You lost all your all-ins, such as life. Don't second-guess yourself when you get it in good, or even if you get it in bad. Something else I was talking to Alex Carr of Poker about is that some people really focus on their EV big blind per 100 hands, and he says that some people have this leak where they refresh it all the time because that's all that really matters is how much money you're winning per hand on average, taking out luck, right? And some people refresh that. But if you play 2,000 hands as a, let's say, 7 big blind per 100 winner, you're going to have swings between something like 50 big blinds per 100 and minus 30 big blinds per 100. That's just a normal swing over 2,000 hands. And then over like 30,000 hands, you can still break even or win infinite. And it's important to recognize that there are lots of swings, even in the short term, of 30,000 hands, which is more than the vast majority of people play. You're losing at poker, but you read a lot and study a lot. I would tell you to study and make sure you're studying diligently. Make sure you're taking notes, right? Don't just like watch videos. What a lot of people do is they will come home from work, have a beer, watch a Twitch stream. That is not studying. That is entertaining yourself. And there's nothing wrong with being entertained, but it's not how you're going to get good at poker. Seems awfully yellow in here today on Instagram. Very odd. So this is why I made PokerCoaching.com, by the way, is because I designed it to make it where you had to click what you want to do, and then you get immediate feedback, and then shortly after that, you get to click a button again, right? You have to play. I make you actually play the scenarios on PokerCoaching.com, and it's interactive, right? And I found that interactive learning is usually way better than passive learning, assuming we're actually trying to get people to be good. And to be fair, it's even entertaining. It's more entertaining because you're actually in there playing, which is great. How do you deal with consistently losing in high equity spots? Get over it and play more. I mean, I know it's not like the nice, fluffy answer. It's an answer that is honest. I mean, like I just sat here and told you 30,000 hands is nothing. So get over it. Even if you're good, like one of the biggest winners in the game, you're going to break even over 30,000 hands. So how many hands is 30,000 hands live? Well, you play 100 hands an hour. So what's that, 300 hours? Is that right? I think that's right. 300 hours you can run neutral. 300 hours is 40 hours a week, so 2 months. You can have roughly 2-month break-even stretches playing live all day, every day. Well, 8 hours a day, every day. 40 hours a week. So is that what I've experienced? It actually is. I've had a few 2-month break-even stretches at live cash games playing very consistently. It happens. What's the highest win rate possible? 500 cap, 1-3, no limit. Depends on how bad your opponents are, right? I said, did I say 300 hands per hour? Maybe I said it wrong. In live poker, you will play how many hands per hour? You'll play 30 hands per hour. Did I get this wrong? 30 hands per hour? Whatever, do the math. You can break even for a very long time. Let's just stop it right there. I don't have my calculator out. You all can laugh at me for not being able to do math. Sorry, there's lots on my mind today. Do I have any book recommendations for poker math? All of my books discuss the math you need to know. So I would tell you to get Mastering Small Stakes No Limit Hold'em. But there's a lot of math that's pretty irrelevant. A good example is there's a book a long time ago called The Mathematics of Poker, which has a lot of great stuff in it, but it's just not relevant to 99.9% of poker players. So I said 100 hands per hour live. Okay, I was wrong. Sorry. Multiply that number, or divide that number by 3 or so. So maybe you can break even for 6 months. I never broke even for 6 months at cash games, so maybe I've been lucky. But you can break even for a long time. Get used to it. You can lose for a long time, right? That's assuming you're a good winner. If you're not a good winner, you'll definitely have big downswings. A book. Hold up the Mastering book and sell it. I'll show you 2 books. Mastering Small Stakes No Limit Hold'em. This is where you should go first if you've never bought this book. Go to jonathanlittlepoker.com/mastering. This will give you all the information you need to actually beat No Limit Texas Hold'em games. Next, you want to go into math. This is the math that actually matters. Modern Poker Theory. I helped Michael Acevedo get this book together. It is a big book, an in-depth book, a very, relatively math-heavy book. I actually got a lot of the math to go away in this book. But as you see, this is a math book. And a very, very good book. I think it's great. The math in Modern Poker Theory isn't easy for you at all. Well, yeah, it's not a basic book. It's a hard book. But again, I don't think you actually need to know all of that stuff. But I do think it's very helpful. And if you are trying to get to the very highest levels, you probably should try to figure it out. Are these books good for the micro stakes? Mastering Small Stakes No Limit Hold'em definitely is. And in general, I think you need to learn fundamentally sound strategies so that you know how to adjust to take advantage of whatever your opponents do incorrectly. What's the link? JonathanLittlePoker.com/mastering. Go there. It'll take you to YouTube, I believe, or to Amazon, I believe. And then you can just navigate to there. That'll give me an affiliate fee of $1. If you want to give me a free $1, go to JonathanLittlePoker.com/mastering every time you want to buy anything on YouTube. God, YouTube, what's wrong? You can't buy anything on YouTube. Amazon. That's where you buy the books. You can also go to dnbpoker.com if you feel like checking out all the books that I work on to some extent. All right, let's see. So mastering is for 50-cent dollar cash. I don't think anyone said that. Mastering No Limit Hold'em is good up to about 5-10 No Limit Live. So, solidly bigger stakes than what happened at most casinos. And online, I don't know, maybe 1-2, something like that. Some people don't like reading books, they only like online content. Why? Because people learn in different ways. Also, some people have this idea that books get outdated, but that's not really true if the book is designed to be timeless. These 2 books right here are designed to be timeless. To be fair, the vast majority of my books are designed to be timeless, which is why they still sell well and they still help people. I mean, people pick up any of these books back here. If you get them and read them, they are mostly designed with the idea of learn to play fundamentally sound, then adjust accordingly. So learn to play fundamentally sound and then adjust to whatever the people are doing in your games. Is Poker Snowy good for learning a GTO style? I think it's slightly tighter than GTO style, but the people at Poker Snowy think that it is about as perfect as you can be. Where did I meet my wife? In the Bahamas. It's her last day of a New Year's Eve trip. It was my first day of the PCA. Yeah, JonathanLittlePoker.com/mastering for those wanting the link. Let's see. In what state do I live? New York. If you like paying taxes, move to New York. Modern Poker Theory is sick. It is a good book. I mean, look, I've been telling all of you this recently, that I am making content that either I wanted to have as a new poker player or what I want today. This is the book I wish I had as a young poker player. Mastering Small Stakes and Limit Hold'em, complete guide for how to think about ranges, adjust your ranges, and how to generally play well, okay? JonathanLittlePoker.com/mastering. And then, those who are unaware, I am very involved with D&B Poker. They're the biggest poker publishing company in the world at this point. And I'm also part of the Poker Backing Company, right? And the person whose videos I learned the most from was Michael Acevedo, this guy right here. So, here's him looking overly serious like a robot. So, I decided, I think I can get Michael to write a book. Because I knew him, he's nice, he's friendly. He has lots and lots of data. I know he teaches all sorts of people. And this is the outcome. It took a long time. Thought it was going to take about a year. It took 2.5 years. Michael's very diligent. But that's okay. We got it done. And so this is the book that I wanted. I made this book for past Jonathan Little. I made this book for present and future Jonathan Little. And I'm doing that with PokerCoaching.com too, for example. We see, I have some coaches there that are teaching slightly more basic stuff. And then I have some coaches that I am bringing on that are teaching very high-level stuff. If you've been seeing what Matt Affleck is doing, now if you're a Poker Coaching Premium member, he is doing a webinar every single week where he is reviewing your hands, using solvers, going in depth, and figuring out exactly how to better your strategy. And that's just happening every week for the Poker Coaching Premium members. Also, we just hired Jonathan Jaffe, who is, in my opinion, one of the absolute best in the world, especially at exploitative poker. And I hired him because I want to have him on the site. I'm going to learn a ton, and I already have. He's turned in 2 videos to me, and they are both great. And I'm fortunate to be in a spot where I can do that for me and for all of you. Am I doing a New York City meetup for Poker Coaching members? Haven't planned on it, but hey, maybe we will one day. It's not a bad idea. What's a reasonable rate for a decent poker coach? Depends on what you're trying to get them to teach you, and it depends on their opportunity cost, right? Some poker coaches are overly expensive because they have no time and they don't necessarily want to be coaching. Some poker coaches are very cheap because they don't want to have variance, and they also, maybe they don't have much of a bankroll, or who knows what, right? Anyway, it depends on what you're trying to learn as well. If you're trying to learn how to beat super high stakes, it's going to be expensive. It's going to be $300 to $1,000 an hour. If you're wanting to learn how to beat 5 cent, 10 cent no limit, and you're learning from someone who plays like 10 cent, 25 cent no limit, it might be like $25 an hour. So it depends a lot on what you're trying to accomplish. Let's get back to adversity. Dealing with adversity. Okay. Is the problem actually that bad? It's probably not. You may think it is, but in the big scheme of things, the grand scheme of things, it probably isn't that big of a deal. If you lose half your bankroll, yeah, it sucks, but it is what it is. Okay, next. What can you do about it? Can you fix the problem? Well, if you lose half your bankroll, what can you do? Well, you can get back to work and grind, right? You need to get back in there, grind, and continue progressing. Don't just sulk and be sad and angry and complain about bad luck, right? Realize you made the decision to play bigger. I made a decision to go into an internet company, right? And when things go wrong with it, you just have to recognize that you're not the greatest at this and hire professionals and move forward as productively as you possibly can. So, you're going to find that in general, as we discussed earlier, adversity is not necessarily bad, right? I think a lot of people think adversity is terrible. You don't want to have adversity. You want it to all be nice and easy and your life to just go straight up. But adversity is not so bad as long as you are learning from it and continuously progressing because of it. I mean, when you go to the gym, for example, right? If you lift light weights, you don't really get strong. But if you lift heavy weights, if you have lots of adversity, then you'll get strong, right? But it's hard. I've been in the gym the last 2 days. Told you all. One of my mentors, Kurt Kohlberg, said, get up and don't be lazy and get in the gym. And I have. And now I'm very sore. I tried getting out of the bed and I was like, oh my God, my legs hurt so bad. Because I'm out of shape, right? And to be fair, I'm in better shape than most people, but I'm still out of shape compared to me, and I haven't been in the gym a lot, right? I've been doing more picking up children and body slamming Mr. James. But adversity is good, right? It's good to accept the hardships and fight through the hardships and come out of the other side better than you started. And I mean, I've had a few setbacks in poker. I mean, there was one time where I was playing 30-60 limit. This is when I remember I started 25 cent, 50 cent, progressed all the way up to 30-60, biggest game they had on Party Poker back then. And I had this hand where I forget exactly what happened, but I had 4 kings. I flopped 4 kings, and the opponent had 4 aces by the river. We capped it pre-flop, king, blank. I bet, he raised, I re-raise, we cap it. Turns an ace, we cap it, river's an ace. I think I put in only like 4 bets before I realized, oh my God, this guy has aces. So then I called. And limit hold'em, you can re-raise unlimited amount of times. So after like 4 re-raises, I'm like, oh. So someone can do the math. It's a pretty nice loss. A few $1,000, right? And I think I was taking a shot in that game because it was slightly softer than normal. Anyway, I lost like a third of my bankroll in that session or something like that, playing in a slightly bigger game than I should, and also just getting super unlucky. They did not have a bad beat jackpot then. They introduced the bad beat jackpot a few weeks after that, so that was fun. The one time in my life I would have won the bad beat jackpot. I don't collect it. But it happens, right? So what did I do? I was disciplined. I moved back down to, I think, even like 10, 20 or whatever comparable size game there was. And I got back to grinding, right? Got back to grinding and continued moving up, and here we are. So don't just like sit there and complain and think I'm the most unlucky person ever because I ran quads into quads. Instead think, okay, I made the decision to play this. Maybe even played it well and then I only lost 3 or 4 bets on the river. Is what it is, right? Yesterday, 2 days ago, I was in Jacksonville, Florida for the World Poker Tour tournament. And day 1, ran kings into aces, lost a lot of my chips, lost a flip and I was out. Fine, sucks. Okay, move on. Next day, I had kings, and I ran into aces again, but only lost 10 big blinds. Pre-flop. I folded in pre-flop. It went raise, 3-bet, I cold called. 4-bet, 5-bet, I folded. And would have lost a ton, right? I'm not saying that I'm trying to fold kings or anything like that, but even then, I still just lost every hand. I mean, after that hand, I was down to like 30,000 chips or 35,000 chips from a 40,000 starting stack, and I just lost every hand. Didn't make any hands, right? I was listening to a podcast with someone the other day, and they said something to the effect of, you can be the absolute best poker player in the world, but if you just don't hit any flops, you're going to lose. Sorry. And there's nothing you can do about it. So I had 2 of those days, 2 7-hour days, where I just didn't hit any cards. And I ran into setups over and over, right? And that's okay, right? I understand that's what you signed up for. And that can happen many, many days in a row. I'm going to the Bahamas in mid-November to play the Party Poker Caribbean Poker Party. And every day, there's a $10,000 buy-in tournament. And I could just run really poorly. Some people are going to run really poorly. Some people are going to run really hot. I already know this. I could go there and lose $100,000. Or I could go there and win $1 million. Or $2 million or more. Who knows how much you can win? I guess it's a $10 million guaranteed for the main event. So I guess you can win, if you win that one and another one, maybe you win like $4 million out the door. I can win $4 million. I'm either going to lose $100K or win, probably $1 million on average. And that's okay. I accept that. And that's the risk that all tournament players are willing to accept. Don't forget to bring your wife. My wife is not going. She has to work. Poor Amy. How to play against gel all players. I don't know what you're saying, Rebecca. Variance in poker is fun. It's especially wild in tournaments, and get used to it. My selling action. I have already sold the action I need to sell. I have a few people on an email list. I send them a text. I say, I'm selling this action. They say, you got it. And then we're good to go. We are fortunate to be in that scenario where we have good results, and I don't need to sell tiny pieces to lots and lots of people. That said, I do think the thing Dan Negreanu's doing is very smart. I'm probably going to do this for the next World Series, where I sell some action like he's doing to lots of people at no markup. Just to help out people, right? Oh, one thing I am doing. Actually, two things I'm doing. We're running 2 giveaways right now. Completely free. All of you can get in them. One of them is for a $1,100 buy-in card player poker tour seat. You get to pick which one you go to. We'll be running that for the next month. And also what we're going to do, not 100% sure on this, we haven't released it yet. So sneak preview for everyone. We're going to be giving away 1% of my Party Poker Caribbean Poker player action. I don't know how much in buy-ins we're going to be doing, but maybe $50,000 to $100,000 in buy-ins. We're just going to be giving away 1% of that to someone, and they'll have a piece of all of my action in those tournaments. Was that the first time you folded kings pre-flop, besides in satellites? I don't know. I don't really remember that kind of thing. But I don't fold kings very often. It takes some very odd scenario for it to happen. A lot of people prefer live tournaments so you can crush online cash games. Online cash games play much smaller than big tournaments. Would I rather play $5,000 and $10,000 buy-in tournaments or 2-5 no limit online? Right? Also, I have an educational poker business, and it's good for me to be out in the public. Because if I win poker tournaments, that's a very good advertisement for me. Also, it's more fun for me. At this point in life, I do what I enjoy. I don't want to move out of America to play online poker and make $100 an hour when I can write an article or do a little coffee. Because when I do a little coffee, you all may not realize this. Some of you go and buy these books. See all these books? These books just got sold. We probably just sold 10 of these things. And, I don't make a ton of money from that, but say we sell 10 books, I make $30 out the door. Maybe more, maybe $40 or $50 out the door. And I'm just sitting there hanging out, right? Would I rather sit here and hang out, or would I rather grind super hard all day, every day? I have made decisions in my life long ago that have led to me being able to do what I want to do now, right? And I'm a big fan of delayed gratification. And I have delayed a lot of gratification, and we are getting there. People play tournaments because of huge prizes and prestige. I don't really care about the huge prizes at all, but prestige is something that is interesting that I don't think I care a lot about, but I do care about to some extent. I mean, I must, right? How long does it take to get to the mentality that you're okay with brutal variance? You just have to understand what you're doing. Accept what you've signed up for. A lot of people don't accept what they signed up for. This is another big thing. If you have a small-ish bankroll, not bankroll to be playing big buy-in tournaments, what are your options? Cash games are great if you don't have a big bankroll because the variance is way lower, which means you don't need as big of a bankroll, right? And if you don't need as big of a bankroll, you can grind up money more consistently. Cash games are great. They're great if you don't want to have lots of variance. And I don't mind variance because my bankroll's plenty big at this point. And like backing companies, right? A lot of backing groups online don't back people in cash games because the win rates are relatively small. So they have a giant bankroll, an infinite bankroll in cash games, right? In backing groups. And they're buying into people into small buy-in tournaments over and over and over and over again. And they may buy in, 5,000 buy-ins a day. And inevitably, they'll get their ROI out of that. Now, some of the players will have insane swings, and the players accept that. And it's fine for the players because they're not putting up the money. So it's like a win-win for everyone. And, I accept that I have a gigantic amount of variance in my poker playing career because I'm not playing all that many tournaments, right? If I'm playing, 100 tournaments a year, I may win one. Actually, I won one the other day. That trophy right there from the Seminole Hard Rock Poker Open. We won that. The problem is that was a $2,000 tournament. I only got $100,000. I just told all of you I'm going to be playing $100,000 in buy-ins next week or next month. So all that money can just be shot right in there. So I got a little bit unlucky that I won a small buy-in tournament with not so many people instead of a giant tournament. But hey, maybe I can win the giant tournament too. Is poker coaching good for online tournaments? It is designed for online tournaments and cash games. And it's designed for all forms of poker, but it is definitely designed for tournaments. It's tournament-centric, and I realize that it is tournament-centric. So I also made my cash game course where it's very, very cash game-centric, right? So I made sure that there is plenty of content on the site for no matter what game you play. Live, online, cash, tournament, high stakes, low stakes. It is all there because I want to be a one-stop shop to go from being a relatively novice poker player to a world-class poker player. And that's what it's designed for. And I'm glad that we are making students better. How do you get connected to these backing companies? The one I'm involved with is pocar.com, Pocarr.com. How do you get staked in tournaments if you only play cash? Well, why would someone want to stake you in a tournament if you only play cash? That doesn't make sense, right? You need to prove that you have success at cash games. And to be fair, the Pocar backing company that I'm involved with, they don't back a large percentage of the people that come in. They want to see that you actually have some results and that you actually are dedicated and you will put in volume. They're not trying to back people who are going to slack off. They're not giving away their money, right? They're giving you money with the idea that you are going to make a lot more money out of it. And if you're not going to put in the study required to succeed, well, don't expect to get backing. You don't deserve backing. And if you have no results at all, someone's not going to give you money to experiment, right? I mean, I have this rule in my head where whenever I am buying pieces of people, every World Series, I'll just buy lots and lots of pieces of people. I do not buy pieces of 21-year-olds, even if they have good results. You may say, why not? Because they lack live experience for the most part. And I'm going to be wrong sometimes. Every year there's some 21-year-old player who crushes it. But in general, I have found that they are experimenting to some extent because they're learning. They're in the very new learning process of learning how to beat live poker. So they can experiment with somebody else's money. I've learned. I'm a world-class player. You truly appreciate me and my company. Well, thank you for being here, Wes. Glad you're enjoying it. Let's see. Do you think coaching and collaboration is bad for the poker economy? Well, it makes the game tougher, but it also makes the game easier to learn and easier to get proficient at. What is adversity? Adversity is difficulty, trials, setbacks. I'm sure someone can Google adversity and tell me what it means exactly, but that's essentially what it means. Would I have backed Fedor Holz? So, let's talk about this, right? Would I have backed Fedor Holz his first year? Depends on the markup. So, Fedor Holz, before he turned 21, had already won W Coupe main event and a bunch of money. Don't know when he started, but he started a while ago. So he's very, very experienced online. Would I back him live? I think the answer is probably not, unless I was getting 1.1 markup. I mean, would I back him in his first live tournament? I'm not saying now. Today, of course I would. But in his first live tournament, would I have paid a significant markup for him that is what the amount that he should be getting today? And I think the answer is probably not. We saw this just recently in the $1 million buy-in tournaments in London. There were a few players who were well-known online players, and they made lots of silly mistakes in live poker because they just couldn't count the chips very well, or they didn't quite know what the bet sizes were, et cetera, et cetera. And those mistakes really, really cost you. And it's hard to get. Well, it's not hard. It takes more than one time playing live poker to be good at the things required to play live poker. So they're lacking experience, and I don't want to pay for people to get experience. You saw me tweeting about backing it. I'm not sure what I tweeted. Is it safe to assume applying for a previous month covers all future months? K-Cap, I have no clue what you're referring to. When you're backing someone in a tournament, what percentage gets paid? Not exactly sure what you're saying. Basically, say you buy a piece of me in a tournament. You buy 50% of me in a tournament. We're playing a $10,000 tournament, you give me $5,000, okay? Or say you buy a 1.2 markup, you give me $6,000. Fine. Whatever I cash for, say I cash for $18,000, you get 50% of that, so you get $9,000 back. If I cash for $1 million, you get $500,000. So I guess it's paid on the total cash percentage, the total cash amount. I'm sure you could structure some weird deal where you pay only on profits. Some people do that. I try to not convolute things. I like to make deals very clean, very simple. I try to be very transparent. And everything I do, I'm not trying to do anything hidden. I mean, go to pokercoaching.com/security. You see what I mean, right? With this breach, I'm just trying to give information as cleanly and as transparently as I can. And when I am backing or getting backed, I just want to do a straight deal, right? If I buy your action, I buy 10% of your action at whatever percent markup. I have 10%, whatever you cash, you give me that amount of money. And that's it. Where's the 21 implied odds for suited connectors come from? You're just not going to hit, well, math is where it comes from. You're just not going to hit it all very often. Also, suited connectors have a problem that when you hit it, it's usually a draw of some sort, which is not so great. 4 $2,000 stacks at 1-2 no limit. You have $430. Is it okay to call $30 pre-flop against 2 maniacs with 9-8 suited? No, probably not. Are backing deals legal documents or handshake deals? The vast majority of the ones that I do are handshake deals because I know the people who I am backing to some extent. Or they have very good vouching, right? I'm a big fan of word of mouth vouching. And I'm trying to think all of my deals are handshake deals to some extent. And if I think I can't do a handshake deal with you, I don't do a deal with you. I'm not exactly sure how Pokar does it. I presume they have some document people sign. It's very important to realize that in the high stakes poker community, your reputation is incredibly, incredibly valuable. And like, what would it take for someone like myself to butcher their reputation by stealing money? And like, I just wouldn't do it because that's not in my personality. But like, take someone who's shady, right? They're playing $10,000 tournaments. Would they screw their reputation for, let's say, $1 million? And I think the answer is just no. Because they're going to make way more than that in the future just by being able to play in games, sell action, buy action, deal with people. So like, there's no real amount of money someone's going to front you that you would want to steal in exchange for your reputation. So it's almost like it's self-policing to some extent. In the small stakes, though, say you're a complete nobody, you're not going to play poker anymore, you're going to go play one time, maybe you shaft somebody for $1,000 and you disappear, right? Because it's a free roll to some extent, because you're not going to play anyway. And if you happen to win and get lucky, or who knows, maybe you don't play this tournament, if you happen to win and get lucky, then you pay and you go from there. I don't know. These are always very weird things to talk about because stealing from anyone is not the answer, right? Because you're doing the very, very obviously wrong thing. And you don't want to do the very obviously wrong thing. But, like I have a few people online who I transfer money back and forth to. Well, we're transferring $100,000, no problem. And I'll send first, they'll send first, it doesn't matter. Send as soon as it's easy. And I know they're not going to screw me, and they know I'm not going to screw them. Because reputation is highly, highly important. Also, like I have people who buy pieces of my action. Like right now, there's someone out there who I have like $40,000 of theirs just hanging out. Whenever I want to sell action, let him know the action, and he buys it. He accepts it because he knows I'm not going to screw him. I'm going to give him a fair deal, not going to disappear, and it's a handshake deal. And it's, I mean, I know I'm not going to screw him, and he's not going to screw me, and we're good to go. What kind of bankroll do you need to start playing 50-cent dollar cash games? Read jonathanlittlepoker.com/bankroll. That was a long answer to it. Do I do handshake deals or not? Didn't the kid from World Series Poker get sued from backers? He did. My lawyer, Mac Verstandig, was on the case. He's also on the case of the Postal instance. I did an interview with Mac about the Postal case because there's a whole lot of nonsense being spread around. You can find that on YouTube, youtube.com/floattheturn. It's one of my more recent videos. About an hour long, going through the case, going through exactly what is being discussed. What is this? Oh, this is my cup. I was trying to figure out what this is. It's on my camera, so I was trying to figure out what this was. All right. Brain's not working today. Okay. You're wondering because the odds of getting a set are about 8-1. Does that mean the odds of winning a big pot with a suit connector is about 20-1? Something like that. Yes, essentially. And again, that's just, you have to realize that whenever you're calling with a small pair, you don't necessarily need 8-1 implied odds because sometimes you win when you don't make a pair, or when you don't make a set, right? Suited connectors. Maybe you don't need the full 20-1 implied odds because you're not playing only to make the nuts. You get to bluff sometimes, right? Sometimes your middle pair wins. So it's important to realize that. Why do I think Postel cheated? I don't know. I'm not going to hypothesize about what he's doing. How many hours a day should you be studying and playing if you have no job? If you're good already, don't study a whole lot. If you're not good, if you're not already crushing the medium and high stakes, then you need to be studying a ton. As you get better and better, you should probably study a little bit less. Now, as you get better and better, you in theory have more time to devote to poker, so you get to study more, right? Because you just have more time. Like if you have a job, you only have, let's say, 20 hours of disposable time each month. So if you study 10 of them, then like that's a lot. That's 50%. But if you quit your job and you're playing poker and you're winning, now you have 60 hours a week to poker. You can now devote 20 of them, and it's less time proportionally, but still a lot. Do backies still pay their own expenses? If you're doing a one-time deal, like if I just buy percentages of someone, I'm not paying for their expenses. If you have a long-term makeup deal, that can be negotiated into it. I had a deal like that a long time ago in the past where whatever reasonable expenses I had, again, the backer trusted me to be very reasonable with expenses, which I was, all of those would just go on to makeup. So it's basically like the backer pays those. I had a deal where I could take a loan if I wanted to at 2 times makeup off of the deal. So like as you get better results and as you get better, I guess a better reputation, you can negotiate better deals for yourself, especially if they don't actually cost the backer all that much money. But no, typically expenses are not included. Pay your own expenses. And you say, well, shouldn't the backer cover some of those? Good luck trying to get it. Mitchell says, thanks for the Run It Up Reno backing. You're very, very welcome. Hope you enjoy it. Hope you're having fun. Your casino has very loose play. How do you handle that? Learn to exploit your opponent's mistakes. Read Mastering Small Stakes No Limit Hold'em. JonathanLowePoker.com/mastering explains how to adjust to whatever your opponents are doing incorrectly. As far as I know, they settled the World Series of Poker case. I don't know the details. Do I do swaps? Not a whole lot. Every once in a while, like the World Series main event, I'll swap with a few players who I think are very good. We usually just structure it as a straight swap, like 1% of me for 1% of you. Maybe if I'm swapping with someone who's not as good as me, maybe they pay 1.2 for 1. Sometimes we'll swap mid-tournament with people if we have roughly the same stacks. Or again, you can pay a little bit of a vig if you have less than them. I really don't do a whole lot of swaps though, because I just don't want to deal with it. And I don't need to. I'm cool with variance. I like variance. I don't mind variance. Let's see. You said cash is better for building bankrolls. You don't have a lot of experience, but you do have a lot of tournament experience. Well, Martin, if you're already winning from tournaments and you're properly bankrolled, just keep playing that, right? Like if you're sitting there with 100 buy-ins or 200 buy-ins and you're playing low variance tournaments, then what's the problem? Just keep doing that. Grind it up, right? And the nice thing about whenever you are grinding it up is that you're not really concerned with winning money. You're concerned with getting good. And if your goal is to get good at a specific form of poker, like tournaments because you like them, then just keep doing that. But if you have no money and you are trying to start from nothing, I definitely suggest cash games just because variance is way lower and because you're playing the same game all the time. It's important to realize that tournaments, you have to play deep stack, short stack, medium stacked, on the bubble and the money, at the final table bubble, at 7-handed, 3-handed, 2-handed, right? You have to learn a lot of different games. Whereas cash games are usually playing 9-handed or 6-handed with 100 big blind stacks across the board. Do I think that players get better as they play higher stakes? In general, the answer is yes. But you can find soft games sometimes. All right, I have to get going. I want to thank all of you for being here with me today. Thank you all for being understanding pertaining to the people hacking me. I definitely appreciate that. I'm sure some people get angry and annoyed. Some people get pissed, which is understandable. Realize, though, that I'm also angry and pissed, too, and I'm doing my best to overcome the adversity. We've taken the steps required to shore up the problems, and I'm excited to move forward as productively as we possibly can. Do you think I could be a good chess player? Oh, wait, do I think being a good chess player will help you with poker? Being a good thinker will help you at poker. I don't think you necessarily have to play chess. I mean, I played chess as a kid. I was pretty decent at it. Not world class or anything, but I could beat people online very frequently. I think I had something like 1850 rating online on Yahoo or whatever it was, or Pogo. Whatever. Anyway, that was a long time ago. So does that make you good at poker? I actually think that chess is probably not the best game for poker because poker has unknown information. It's very different. I would definitely suggest learning things that have unknown information. Like Magic the Gathering, I think is a great game to learn for poker because the unknown information is very valuable. Hearthstone is like easy Magic, and it doesn't matter as much what your opponent has in their hand, and therefore it's probably not as good for poker as Magic, because in Magic it really matters what's going on in your opponent's hand. So I think games like that are probably the best games to learn in terms of, like, if I had to pick a different game to learn to help me get better at poker, well, I'd probably just pick a different form of poker, right? If you're playing No Limit Hold'em and you want to learn a different game, learn like PLO or something. But anyway, that's that. But yeah, I mean, if you want to play chess, sure, play chess. That said, I would tell you to play poker instead, because unless you're already really, really good at poker, you probably want to spend your efforts learning poker. Being hacked is unavoidable. Yep. Just have to do the best you can in information security field. That's all. That's what we are trying to do. We are bettering ourselves, and adversity will help you become better. Again, if you want to learn about adversity and how to overcome it, The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. Check it out. It's good. As Greg said, almost forgot to hit like. Click subscribe wherever you are watching this. That would be very beneficial to me. Also, check out the giveaway I'm giving away. We're giving away $1,100 to play a Card Player Poker Tour tournament. We'll be giving that away over the next month or so. So check that out. These games can be expensive games. But realize that you can play games very expensively or play games very cheaply. You can buy $50 worth of Magic cards if they're curated properly and have more to play with than you would ever possibly need to play. I'm not saying you have to play at a super high level to try to become a pro Magic player, right? You're not trying to become a pro chess player. You're not going to be the best chess player in the world. But a lot of people get hung up on things that don't matter. Focus on what matters and do that. You can buy just a whole bunch of common cards in Magic the Gathering, for example, and then draft them, play the game, and you'll have a whole lot of fun. That said, some of us are degenerates, and they have $100,000 worth of Magic cards, and they love it. They meaning maybe me. All right, so anyway, that's me for today. Good luck in your games. Have fun. Be nice to someone. I hope all of you have the most success you possibly can dealing with whatever adversity life throws your way. And always work to better yourself. It's okay. Good luck. Have fun. Thanks again for being here. And I'll see you all on Friday.